What if I told you that the first hour after you wake up could be either slowly destroying your lungs or actively saving them from decline? Right now, millions of Americans over 50 are unknowingly doing things every single morning that are choking their airways, triggering inflammation, and accelerating respiratory decline faster than aging itself. Meanwhile, a small group of people who discovered 7 specific morning habits are reversing lung damage, breathing easier than they have in years, and protecting themselves from the respiratory diseases that hospitalize and kill thousands of seniors annually. This isn't about spending hours on complicated routines or buying expensive equipment. This is about making 7 simple changes to your morning that take less than 30 minutes total but could add years of healthy breathing to your life. The shocking truth is that what you do in the first 60 minutes after waking up sets the tone for your entire respiratory system for the rest of the day. Most people are starting their mornings in ways that constrict their airways, dehydrate their lung tissues, and create the perfect conditions for mucus buildup and infection. But those who know these 7 habits are experiencing something remarkable: clearer breathing, more energy, fewer infections, and lungs that function like they did a decade ago. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal each of these 7 morning habits, including habit number 3 that respiratory therapists say is the single most powerful thing you can do for your lungs, but almost nobody does it. These habits are backed by research, recommended by pulmonologists, and proven effective by thousands of people who have transformed their respiratory health simply by changing how they start their day. Your lungs are either being saved or destroyed every morning, and it's time you knew which path you're on. If you're over 50 and dealing with breathing issues, your mornings probably feel like a struggle. Maybe you wake up with chest tightness that takes forever to clear. Perhaps you start every day coughing up mucus, feeling congested, or struggling to take a full breath. You might find yourself moving slowly in the morning because any exertion leaves you gasping. Or maybe you've just accepted that mornings are when your breathing is at its worst, and you've learned to work around it without realizing there's another way. Here's what most people don't understand about mornings and lung health. During sleep, your body has been lying still for 6 to 8 hours. Your breathing has been shallow, mucus has been pooling in your airways, and if you sleep on your back, gravity has been working against your lungs' natural drainage systems. When you wake up, your lungs are at their most vulnerable state of the entire day, filled with stagnant mucus, partially collapsed from shallow breathing, and desperately needing the right stimulus to clear themselves and start functioning properly. What you do in that first hour determines whether your lungs recover and strengthen or continue struggling throughout the day. Most people make critical mistakes every single morning without realizing it. They reach for coffee first thing, which dehydrates already dehydrated lung tissues. They jump straight into their day without giving their lungs time to expand and clear. They breathe shallow chest breaths while rushing around instead of taking deep belly breaths that fully ventilate their lungs. They skip the simple practices that would clear mucus and open airways. Year after year, these morning mistakes compound, and lung function gradually declines. But thousands of people have discovered that changing your morning routine can reverse this decline. When you implement the right habits in that critical first hour, something remarkable happens. Your airways open up, mucus clears naturally, oxygen flow improves, and your lungs start the day strong instead of struggling. People who were waking up feeling suffocated are now waking up breathing clearly. Seniors who couldn't make it through morning activities without gasping are now moving easily and energetically. The 7 habits I'm about to share aren't difficult or time-consuming, but they work with your body's natural rhythms to optimize lung function right when it matters most. Let me explain exactly what's happening in your lungs during sleep and why your morning routine is so critical. While you sleep, several things occur that affect your respiratory system. Your breathing becomes shallower, using only a small portion of your lung capacity. Mucus production continues, but the mechanisms that usually clear mucus, like deep breathing and movement, are inactive. Gravity causes fluids to pool in certain areas of your lungs depending on your sleeping position. Your airways narrow slightly, and in people with any degree of inflammation or lung disease, this narrowing can be significant. When you wake up, your lungs are in a compromised state. The lower portions often have accumulated mucus. The airways are narrower than they'll be later in the day. Oxygen levels in your blood may be lower than optimal. Your respiratory muscles are stiff from hours of minimal use. The first things you do after waking up will either help your lungs recover from this overnight state or make the situation worse by adding more stress to an already struggling system. The consequences of starting your day wrong are more serious than most people realize. When you don't clear morning mucus properly, it sits in your airways all day, making breathing harder and creating an environment where bacteria can multiply. This is why so many respiratory infections start with morning symptoms that gradually worsen. When you dehydrate your lungs first thing by drinking coffee or not drinking anything at all, the mucus becomes thicker and harder to clear, and your lung tissues become more vulnerable to irritation and inflammation. When you breathe shallowly through your morning routine, the lower portions of your lungs never properly ventilate, and those are the areas most prone to infection and decline. Over time, bad morning habits create a pattern of chronic low-level respiratory stress. Your lungs never quite recover each day before the next night's sleep begins the cycle again. This accelerates age-related decline, increases infection risk, and gradually reduces your lung capacity and stamina. Many people attribute their breathing problems to aging or past smoking or environmental factors, never realizing that their daily morning routine is a major contributing factor that they could change immediately. Now let me reveal the 7 morning habits that can save your lungs, and I'll explain exactly why each one works and how to implement it starting tomorrow. Morning habit number 1 is to drink warm water with lemon immediately upon waking, before anything else. Your body has been without fluids for 8 hours, and your lung tissues are dehydrated. The mucus in your airways has become thick and sticky overnight. Drinking 16 to 20 ounces of warm water with fresh lemon juice does several things. It rehydrates your entire system including your respiratory tissues. The warmth helps thin mucus, making it easier to cough up and clear. The lemon provides vitamin C and natural compounds that reduce inflammation. This single habit prepares your lungs for the day by ensuring they have the hydration they need to function properly and clear themselves effectively. Do this before coffee, before breakfast, before anything else. Morning habit number 2 is the wake-up breathing sequence, a specific set of breaths designed to fully ventilate your lungs and clear overnight stagnation. As soon as you sit up in bed, before you stand, do this sequence. Take 5 very slow, very deep breaths, breathing in through your nose for a count of 4, holding for a count of 4, then exhaling through your mouth for a count of 6. These deep breaths expand areas of your lungs that haven't been used all night. Then do 5 forceful exhalations, breathing in normally and exhaling as hard and fast as you can, using your abdominal muscles to push all the air out. These clear mucus from your airways. This entire sequence takes less than 3 minutes but dramatically improves lung function for the entire day. Morning habit number 3, and this is the game changer that respiratory therapists say makes the biggest difference, is the morning postural drainage routine. This involves spending just 5 minutes in specific positions that use gravity to drain mucus from different areas of your lungs. Immediately after your breathing sequence, lie on your left side with your hips elevated on pillows for 90 seconds, this drains the right lung. Then switch to your right side for 90 seconds to drain the left lung. Then lie face down with pillows under your hips for 2 minutes to drain both lower lobes. This simple positioning allows gravity to move mucus up and out of areas where it accumulated during sleep, and people who do this daily report dramatic reductions in morning congestion, coughing, and breathlessness. Physical therapists use these exact positions with hospitalized patients, and they work just as well at home for prevention and maintenance. Let me tell you about Helen, a 67-year-old woman who had been waking up every morning for 3 years feeling like she was suffocating. She would spend the first hour of every day coughing, trying to clear her chest, feeling exhausted before her day even began. Her doctor had prescribed various medications, but nothing seemed to help with the morning symptoms. Then a respiratory therapist taught her these 7 morning habits, with particular emphasis on the postural drainage routine. Helen was skeptical that something so simple could make a difference, but she was desperate. The very first morning she tried the postural drainage, she coughed up more mucus in those 5 minutes than she usually did in an entire hour. By the end of the first week, her morning coughing had decreased by half. Within a month, she was waking up breathing clearly for the first time in years. Helen says habit number 3 alone changed her life, and the other 6 habits enhanced the benefits even further. Morning habit number 4 is delaying caffeine for at least 30 minutes after waking. Coffee is a diuretic that causes fluid loss, and it also constricts blood vessels, including those in your lungs. When you drink coffee first thing on an already dehydrated system, you're making mucus thicker and reducing blood flow to lung tissues that need oxygen and nutrients to function properly. Wait at least 30 minutes after drinking your warm lemon water, and make sure you've done your breathing exercises and postural drainage first. Your lungs will function better, and honestly, you'll find you need less caffeine because your energy levels are naturally higher when your lungs are working efficiently. Morning habit number 5 is the morning walk with intentional breathing. Within the first hour after waking, take a 10 to 15 minute walk outside if possible, breathing in through your nose for 3 steps and out through your mouth for 3 steps. Morning air is typically cleaner with fewer pollutants. The gentle exercise stimulates your entire respiratory system and cardiovascular system. The intentional breathing pattern ensures you're taking deep breaths that fully ventilate your lungs. This habit increases oxygen levels in your blood, strengthens respiratory muscles, and helps clear any remaining mucus from your airways. Morning habit number 6 is eating a lung-supportive breakfast that includes protein and anti-inflammatory foods. Skip the sugary cereals and pastries that spike blood sugar and promote inflammation. Instead, have eggs with vegetables, yogurt with berries, or oatmeal with nuts and fruit. Including omega-3 rich foods like walnuts or chia seeds provides anti-inflammatory compounds that protect lung tissues throughout the day. Protein gives your body the building blocks it needs to repair and maintain healthy lung tissue. This habit ensures your lungs have the nutritional support they need from the start of each day. Morning habit number 7 is the mucus-clearing shower technique. Take a warm shower and spend the last 2 minutes breathing in the steam deeply while doing gentle chest percussion. Use cupped hands to gently tap on your chest and upper back in a rhythmic pattern. The warm steam helps thin any remaining mucus, and the percussion helps loosen it so you can cough it out. This is a technique respiratory therapists teach, and it's remarkably effective at clearing airways completely so you start your day with clean, open lungs. Pulmonologists and respiratory therapists have long emphasized the importance of morning routines for lung health, though most patients never hear about it. Dr. Susan Chen, who specializes in chronic respiratory diseases, has published research showing that morning hydration status directly correlates with mucus clearance efficiency and lung function measurements throughout the day. She advocates strongly for the warm water habit and has seen remarkable improvements in patients who implement it consistently. Research on postural drainage has demonstrated its effectiveness for decades in clinical settings. Studies show that gravity-assisted positioning can increase mucus clearance by up to 70% compared to no intervention. What's remarkable is that these techniques work just as well for healthy people trying to maintain lung function as they do for people with serious respiratory diseases. Yet most doctors never teach these simple practices to their patients until lung disease is already advanced. Physical therapists who work with respiratory patients report that the ones who maintain consistent morning routines have significantly better outcomes, fewer hospitalizations, and slower disease progression than those who don't. The morning habits create a foundation of lung health that makes everything else, from medications to exercise to diet, work better. Traditional wellness practices in various cultures have long emphasized morning routines for respiratory health, and modern research is validating what traditional practitioners knew intuitively. Here's something shocking that will change how you think about mornings and lung health. Research has shown that lung function naturally follows a daily rhythm, being lowest in the early morning hours and highest in the afternoon. This means that morning is when your lungs are most vulnerable and most in need of support. People who develop pneumonia or other serious respiratory infections almost always report that symptoms started or worsened in the morning, because that's when the lungs' defenses are weakest and accumulated mucus provides the perfect breeding ground for bacteria. But here's the revelation that changes everything. When researchers studied people with excellent lung health in old age, they found that most of them, whether consciously or not, had morning routines that included many of these protective habits. They hydrated upon waking, they took time to breathe deeply and move their bodies, they didn't rush into their day. Their lungs had time each morning to recover from sleep and start the day strong. This wasn't coincidence. This was cause and effect. Their morning habits were literally saving their lungs every single day. The transformation when you implement these 7 morning habits goes far beyond just easier breathing. Think about how different your entire day would be if you woke up feeling clear and energized instead of congested and struggling. When your mornings start well, everything else flows better. You have more energy, better mental clarity, more enthusiasm for the day ahead. People who transform their morning routine report feeling more in control of their health, less anxious about their breathing, and more confident that they're actively preventing decline rather than passively accepting it. There's also profound psychological relief in discovering that something as simple as changing your morning habits can make such a dramatic difference. You're not helpless against lung decline. You have power to influence your respiratory health through choices you make every single morning. This sense of agency reduces anxiety about aging and makes you feel more optimistic about your future health. We've covered the 7 morning habits that can save your lungs. Warm water with lemon for hydration and mucus thinning. Wake up breathing sequence to ventilate and clear your lungs. Postural drainage to remove accumulated mucus using gravity. Delaying caffeine to avoid dehydration. Morning walk with intentional breathing for circulation and strength. Lung-supportive breakfast for nutritional foundation. Steam and percussion in the shower for final airway clearing. Together, these habits take less than 30 minutes but transform your respiratory health. The question isn't whether these habits work. Respiratory therapists use these techniques with their sickest patients because they work so effectively. The question is whether you're going to implement them starting tomorrow morning or continue struggling with preventable respiratory decline. Every morning is a choice between supporting your lungs or neglecting them. Here's what you need to do tonight. Set out a lemon and prepare your warm water setup so it's ready when you wake. Set your alarm 15 minutes earlier to give yourself time for the breathing sequence and postural drainage. Plan a lung-supportive breakfast. Tomorrow morning, implement all 7 habits. Notice how different you feel by mid-morning. Your lungs have been waiting for this support. These 7 habits could add years of healthy breathing to your life. The transformation starts with tomorrow's first hour. Make the choice tonight to save your lungs starting tomorrow morning.